All right, guys, on today's video, we are bringing you two different trims. Both are on front feet from one of my pasture herds. Welcome back to Neat the Hoof Guy. First in the chute is this girl, favoring her left front foot. And I think it's pretty obvious which claw this is on. It's going to be on the medial claw. You can see we've got some cracking here, got some loose horn here. That's all going to be connected, so let's get started. So where do you start when trimming a claw like this? Well, what I like to do is start to remove some of the debris, start taking some of these layers down so I can get an idea of what it looks like underneath. A lot of times there's going to be loose horn, there's going to be debris. On pasture cows, you could find rocks in there. So I like to get a good assessment of that before I just start grinding on it with my grinder. You're going to end up, if there is a rock in there, wrecking those carbides. So what I like to do is just get a general assessment, kind of clean this claw up a little bit before I get started with the actual trimming. You hear that cow grumbling in the background? It's not actually a cow. That's a bull. We've got him separated. He's in a different pen because, well, we just don't want to have to mess with him when I'm trying to trim these cows. But he's not too happy about that. Once I've got that general assessment done, I can go and start trimming this foot. What I'm going to do here is just try to get this cow back to her normal hoof angles and normal sole thicknesses. I'm not going to take too much off of that other claw because I'm going to put a block on that. I want that claw a little bit deeper to take the weight off this medial claw. So we're going to get her all trimmed up, and then we'll go to work on the problem itself. Now with this one, there's nothing too tricky here when it comes to locating the problem. It's going to be under there. That separation up above is going to connect to that. So that's the next step. We're going to tackle that, remove all of the separated hoof horn, and see what we got underneath that. Now the good part about separating that bull is I don't have to worry about him sneaking up on me when I'm trimming. The bad part is I have to listen to him the rest of the day as he protests. That other noise, that's a cow with a cowbell on her collar. The cowbell's used for when they're grazing. They're easier to locate out in the hills. When they're grazing, you can't see them all the time. Well, that cowbell gives that away. So what are we dealing with here? Well, it could be a white line issue, but what I think happened is she had a rock caught in there at one point because that hole was pretty big. That's not something that normally is there just from a white line issue. Occasionally you can, but typically there's something must have been up in there, kind of eroded that area down as it went. Either way, we've got a little bit of a lesion under there now, so we got to get this area completely cleaned out, get it trimmed down, get all the loose horn removed from that, and then we shouldn't have any more problems. So how common are foot problems in pasture cows? Well, you've heard me talk a lot about how a lot of these hoof problems are caused by pressure from cows standing on concrete, walking on concrete, and things like that. And yet, some pasture cows still have problems too. So why is that? Well, for pasture cows, those problems are a lot of the times a result of changes in feed. When it comes to cows in confinement or cows that are in barns all the time, a lot of their feed stays pretty consistent. They're fed a total mixed ration. They're all the nutrients and things that they need stay at about the same levels all year long. Their feed doesn't change. When it comes to pasture cows, it changes quite a bit. From the seasons in the pastures, from the cows in the wintertime being fed a lot of hay and preserved feeds, and then going out onto fresh grass, those changes end up translating into problems in their feet. They're just not good at being able to handle those things all the time. Here you can see what we've got going here. There's a little bit of a lesion under there yet, so we're going to get that cleaned up. We're going to get it wrapped, and we're going to get a block on that other claw. But going back to what we're talking about, the changes in the feed, while we don't see that a lot anymore with conventional farming or cows in confinement, it's just because of that consistency. Pasture cows go through a lot of different changes when they're out on pasture, so that can translate into laminitis and other problems in the feet that allow that pedal bone to move a little bit more than they would normally. That is why we have the problem. We're going to get this foot wrapped up, and we're going to move on to cow number 2. No, I did not forget the block. It's going on here in a second. You thought that bull was loud before. Wait till I let this cow go, and he can't get to her. Now on to cow number 2. A little while back, I did a video about how I became a hoof trimmer and how much hoof trimmers make. And in that video, we featured this hoof. But I got a ton of comments about, hey, you got to talk us through this. We want to know what happened with that foot. So here we go. What she had was a white line defect. You can see where that original mark was down below. And up above, we now have digital dermatitis in there. That's why you see me wrap almost all of the white line issues that I work on with salicylic acid is exactly for this reason. While there may not be, or I may not be able to see dermatitis on it at the time, a lot of times that bacteria is there, and that can keep this problem open for an extended period of time. That's exactly what's happened here. This originally was a white line issue. That white line issue has healed, but now we have digital dermatitis to deal with. So now we still have to put a block and a wrap on this cow to take care of that. Now, if you missed that first video, or you want to watch this trim in its entirety, I will put a link down below. And that's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks for watching.